Luddites weren't just machine-smashing rebels. They were skilled craftspeople fighting for their economic survival. And their story might be more relevant today than ever before.
That's fascinating because most people use the term Luddite as an insult now, like it's someone who just can't handle new technology.
Well, here's what's really interesting. These weren't technophobes at all. They were master artisans who actually used plenty of machinery in their work. The historical records show they had spent years, sometimes decades, perfecting their craft in the textile industry.
So what exactly were they protesting against then?
You know, it wasn't really about the machines themselves. It was about power and economics. These new automated looms allowed factory owners to replace skilled workers with cheaper, unskilled labor. We're talking about wages dropping by up to 75% in some cases.
Oh wow, that's exactly like what we're seeing with AI replacing skilled workers today.
And here's where it gets really interesting. The Luddites developed this whole underground resistance movement. They had this mythical leader called General Ned Ludd and would organize these incredibly sophisticated nighttime raids.
So how do they manage to coordinate these protests without modern communication?
Well, they used a complex system of secret meetings and coded messages. And get this, they were so well organized that at one point, the British government had to deploy more troops to fight the Luddites than they had fighting Napoleon in the Peninsular War.
That seems like an extreme response to some broken machines.
That's because it wasn't really about the machines. The government saw this as a fundamental threat to the new industrial economic order. They made machine breaking a capital crime, and historical records show that more Luddites were hanged or transported to penal colonies than were killed during the actual protests.
You know, it's striking how similar this sounds to current debates about AI and automation. The same fears about job displacement, the same concentration of power in the hands of a few.
Exactly. And just like today, the Luddites weren't against progress itself. They were fighting for what we'd now call just transition policies. They wanted fair wages, decent working conditions, and some say in how new technology would affect their lives.
Well, that certainly changes my perspective on the whole movement.
And here's another parallel. During the Industrial Revolution, factory owners claimed that these changes were inevitable and would ultimately create more jobs. Sound familiar? That's the exact same argument we hear from tech companies about AI today.
So what happened to all those displaced workers in the end?
Like, it took generations for things to improve. It wasn't until the late 1800s, with the rise of labor unions and workplace regulations, that workers started seeing real benefits from industrialization. Some economic historians estimate that it took nearly 50 years for workers' wages to recover to pre-industrial levels. You know what's really powerful about this story? The Luddites were right about a lot of things. The Industrial Revolution did lead to massive economic inequality, terrible working conditions, and the exploitation of workers. It took decades of struggle to address these issues.
So what lessons should we be taking from this as we face our own technological revolution?
Well, I think the biggest lesson is that we need to take workers' concerns seriously. When people express anxiety about AI replacing their jobs, we shouldn't dismiss them as modern-day Luddites.
I know, right? It is mind-blowing.
These are legitimate concerns about economic security and the future of work.
That makes me think about how we're implementing AI today. Are we making the same mistakes?
And here's the thing, we have a choice. We can learn from history and implement these technologies in ways that benefit society as a whole, not just a select few. The Luddites remind us that the questions of who controls technology and who benefits from it are just as important as the technology itself.
That's really powerful. It's not about stopping progress, it's about shaping how that progress affects society.
Exactly. And maybe that's the real legacy of the Luddites. They weren't wrong to ask these questions. They were just too early. But now, as we face similar challenges with AI and automation, we have a chance to get it right this time. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel.